Church family, how we doing? Are we enjoying this great weather? It's like spring is trying to get here, but just can't quite get over that hump. It is awesome to be here with all of you. We are in the second week of this series, Asking for a Friend. This is all about our attempt of answering the hard questions that are coming from like your friends and family. Not you, but from your friends and family. Last week, we kicked this thing off by answering the question of, isn't Christianity evil? If you've missed that, please go back through the archives, watch that. It's a great message from Nakoma, so please go back and watch that. Today, we're going to tackle this question of, why am I here? This subject of purpose. Do I have a purpose? Is life random? I'm pretty sure at some point in your own life, you've looked at yourself in the mirror, you've asked yourself, you've looked up into the heavens, you've asked the sky, you've looked at another person and asked, what am I doing here? What is the meaning of life? What am I supposed to be doing? I don't care if you're the CEO of the company. I don't care if you're the admin of that company. You're a bus driver, police officer, school teacher, athlete, a barista at a coffee shop. I don't care who you are. We all want to know our purpose. And here's the deal. I'm obviously going to tackle this from a godly perspective. I'm a guy who's made Jesus Lord and Savior of my life. So whether you've been a Christian and lived and walking with the Lord for like 20 plus years, or you're like new to this and you're like less than 20 days in, doesn't matter. Purpose is still on the forefront. We all want to know our purpose. Let me help you out. The overall purpose of believers, people who have called themselves Christians, we've made Jesus Lord of our lives. Here's the overall purpose. It's to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love others like we love ourselves. Over in Luke 10. That is the overall purpose of what you and I are supposed to be doing when we come into the faith, when we come into this family. That's our main goal. But let's talk about your purpose as an individual. The specific calling that's on your life, the unique mission that God has placed on your life. Because you do have a purpose. Amen? Every single one of us, whether you choose to believe it or not, we all have a purpose. In the book of John, chapter 17, Jesus is sitting at the table. This is like the moment. He's sitting at the table with all his disciples. This is right before he gets arrested. He just washed the disciples' feet. He says that somebody's going to betray him, talking about Judas. He tells Peter, man, you're going to deny me 3 times. Like all of this stuff is happening. He promises the Holy Spirit. This is all in the previous chapters, like 13 through 16. And chapter 17 begins with, just imagine this. You're sitting at the table with Jesus. He's revealing all of this stuff. And all of a sudden, he kind of pushes away from the table, lifts his head up to the sky, to the ceiling, if you will, and he starts praying. Verse 4, John 17:4. This is Jesus' words. He says, I brought glory to you here on earth by completing the work you gave me to do. Completing the work you gave me to do. Will we be able to pray such a prayer? Will you and I be able to utter such words at the end of our lives? God, I brought glory to you on earth by completing the work that you gave me to do. You could be sitting there right now wrestling, man, Lenny, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I got 2 degrees, I'm not using them. I just clean the house and fold laundry and change diapers all day. I don't have a purpose. Dude, I'm a janitor. I clean buildings all day. I just put my headphones on. I go throughout the building doing my thing. I stay to myself. Is there more? I can remember being 18 right around this time of season, April going into May. Graduation is around the corner. And I'm sitting there having a conversation with my dad. And he's like, hey, man, what's next for you? Because you ain't filled out a single college application. You ain't thought about trade school. Like, your job is cool. You know, that job at the car wash is all right, but that's no real money. What's next? Because you can't stay here. I'm like, for real? He's like, what's next? And some of you young people could be feeling the very same thing. Graduation is in like 3 weeks. Because the truth is, you've been like directed by your parents for like all your life. You've been living under their roof, eating their food, driving their car, following their rules and guidance. What's next? What are you going to do in life now? So we got to wrestle with that question. Is this it? Is it all about going to college and getting the degree, meeting my future spouse, then getting the job, and then getting married, having the kid? Now we watch the kids grow up. Now we got sports and activities and dance recitals. Yay! Drug around all the city, going to all these events, and now it's like, all right, let's get the promotion. On to the next business idea. Is this really it? Is this it? Here's the thing. You and I have to find purpose. We have to find some meaning, a reason to get up out of bed every morning, some drive. We have to find purpose, or life is meaningless. Come on, Jesus said, hey, Pops, I brought you glory here on earth by completing the work that you gave me to do. And you look at the life of Moses, I can't help but wonder if he ever got to that point. Man, is this it? Is there more to life than just raising these sheep? Because here's the thing. We know the story, hopefully. Moses is raised up in the palace, like the best place to ever be. Fine eating, fine dining, fine living, amazing linen sheets, you name it. He's raised up in the house. We know this story. Pharaoh puts out a call to all the firstborn are going to die. He was scared of an uprising happening. We got Moses' mom who puts him in a basket, places him in the Nile, and he's just kind of floating and bobbing around. And all of a sudden, Pharaoh's daughter, the princess, finds him, recognizes that he's a Hebrew, and sends, honestly, crazy enough, his mom actually comes back and raises him, but the princess ends up adopting him, and so that's how he's brought up in the kingdom. He's brought up in Pharaoh's palace, if you will. And years later, Moses is out amongst his people, the Hebrews, the enslaved people, doing all of this work. He sees an Egyptian guard beating a man. Moses, in his anger, he ends up killing the guard, hiding his body. The next day, he comes across 2 Hebrew men fighting. He steps in, breaks up the fight, and is like, man, what are y'all doing arguing amongst yourselves? And one of the men say, what you gonna do, kill me like you did that guard yesterday? And Moses is like, uh-oh, somebody knows. I gotta go. Runs off. Distant land. He ends up hiding in this place called Midian. Now he's married and has a couple of sons. Gets a job tending to the sheep belonging to his father-in-law. Surely there's more to life than raising sheep. God, is this it? What is my purpose? Because I don't even like sheep. What is going on? Now, all of a sudden, there comes a day when the sheep kind of lead him up this mountain. They're running off. They're stubborn. And Moses is trying to round them back up, and he sees this bush on fire, and it's not being consumed, and he goes to investigate. Now, there's your proof right there that Moses ain't black. Just saying. Just telling you right now, there's your proof right there. Black folks that I know, me personally, I'm not going to investigate a bush that's on fire and not being consumed. That's not how I operate. And then all of a sudden the bush start talking? Nah, bruh. Let me go home right now and see a bush on fire and that sucker start talking. Baby, we moving. My wife? That seems interesting. Not me. There's your proof right there. I'm just playing. He goes and investigates, and he walks towards this bush, and all of a sudden, the Lord starts speaking. And if you're in a place right now and you're struggling with what your purpose is, I just want to pull a couple of things from this story. Here's the first thing. Purpose is revealed through worship. Purpose is revealed through worship. You could be sitting here right now wondering what you're supposed to be doing in life. You could be tuning in right now wondering what in the world you're supposed to be doing. And if that's the case, get some serious worship going on in your life. Figure out how worship looks for you. Look at Exodus 3, 5, and 6. This is where it all gets made known. Walks up to the bush and God starts speaking. Do not come any closer, the Lord warned. Take off your sandals, for you are standing on holy ground. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Understand, Moses taking off his sandals, that was an act of worship. Simple, but that was an act of worship. There was a reverence and there was a respect for God the Father. Worship means extravagant respect or admiration. It means devotion to a being or an object of esteem. So guess what? You and I could be worshiping anyone or anything. From the PlayStation to Netflix to Hulu to that boyfriend or girlfriend. We could be worshiping anything or anyone. So Moses does this simple act of worship, and all of a sudden God starts revealing things. God starts telling him to go back to Egypt to free the people. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I need you to say. Here's what's going to happen, so on and so forth. Worship needs to be a lifestyle. Worship unto God needs to be a lifestyle. It can't just be a simple thing that we do on Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights, whatever it is that we all come together. No, worship has to be a lifestyle, meaning you got to do this thing on your own, outside of the church walls. Get in the habit of giving God thanks. Get in the habit of getting into your word. Taking the time, any amount of time in the day of just singing unto the Lord, giving him thanks, giving God glory. Old Testament priests would remove their sandals when walking into the church, walking into the temple. And God tells Moses to remove his sandals because he's approaching the bush. And he says, stop, remove your sandals because this is holy ground. Wait a minute. We out here on a mountain, middle of nowhere. What are you talking about holy ground? Because wherever God's presence is holy. It's not about the temple. It's not about the palace. It's not about the church. Wherever I'm at is holy. So whether you're sweeping floors, you got the opportunity to bring the presence of the Lord in. Changing diapers all day? Okay. You got an opportunity to bring the presence of the Lord in. He's getting Moses to understand that, man, wherever I show up, it's holy. You're not just another guy in the office building. You got the opportunity to bring the presence of God in that office. Well, I'm just a school teacher. You better invite the presence of God in. Knucklehead kids. Come on, why not invite them in? Don't think you have to have the biggest position, massive influence in our culture and in our worldwide recognition to have a purpose in life. Every single one of us has a purpose. Whether it's big or small, we got a purpose. My second daughter, Lee, she plays volleyball, and she sent me a text the other day like, hey, can you bring me some Gatorade for my game later on today? I'm like, yeah, I got you. So I go to the store, I grab like 4 bottles, run home, grab the cooler, throw ice in it, all of that. And I show up at the game, and I kind of give her a nod to say, hey, I got your Gatorade, a small little cooler. And I go and set it on the bench where the girls are sitting down at. And right before the game, I see Lee come, and she grabs a bottle. I'm like, all right, she got it. And all of a sudden, I see one of her teammates come up and grab a bottle. I'm like, hold up. And then here comes another teammate. She grabs a bottle. And I'm like, okay, hold up, for real, for real. And then here comes another teammate, and she grabbed the last bottle. And I'm like, I'm hot now. I'm thinking to myself, I ain't bought them bottles for you. Bought them bottles for my baby. Hold on. Game starts. I'm not even thinking about the game. I'm like mad. Like, dude, this ain't cool. And I promise you, it felt like the Lord just tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, Lee's good. Thank you for providing for the other girls. And I was like, shit. I was like, okay, Lord, I see what you're doing. I got to show some love to a couple of girls by simply bringing Gatorade. And in my not so right frame of mind, I'm getting upset instead of recognizing I had an opportunity. So I kid you not, I'm in Aldi the next day, and guess what? Gatorade was on sale. And it's like a crazy sale, 8 little bottles for like $4. Man, I racked up, stocked up. I'm basically nominating myself now as like team hydration monitor. Like, just showing up with Gatorade. Guess what? I mess around, don't have to pay because they just think I'm part of the team. Thank you. I had an opportunity. Here's what I'm saying, man. Get into the habit of getting into his presence and watch how he starts revealing things to you. I could have stayed selfish in my anger and been like, no, God, this ain't right. Blah, 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 blah. But I recognize when the Lord is speaking to me. You understand what I'm saying? The Lord showed up in Moses' life by speaking through a bush. That's not how he operates with me. He knows I'm going the other direction. All he has to do is simply speak to me. Still, calm voice. That's how he speaks to me. So let's not get away from this act, the simple act of worship. Let's not take worship for granted. If you notice things in your life are getting off track, the house is becoming haywire, the job is crazy, get back into worship. There's been plenty of days where my wife is like, look, I need 30 minutes by myself and Jesus. Leave me alone. Don't let the kids bother me. I'm going to get some Jesus time. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. I'm looking at the kids. Leave your mama alone. Don't knock on that door. There's plenty of moments where she's just like, I need some time. Don't forget about worship. Here's the second thing. Purpose is established through persistence. This can't be a one and done. This can't be a one and done. Purpose is established through persistence. Moses gets this purpose, this assignment from God, and look what he does in verse 18. This is Exodus 4:18. So Moses went back home to Jethro, his father-in-law. Please let me return to my relatives in Egypt. Moses said, I don't even know if they are still alive. Go in peace. Jethro replied. That's his reply. Man, go in peace. Here's what I'm saying. Moses had to get a desire in his heart to go do this thing. He had to get some fire in his belly, if you will. Had to get that desire in his heart to go do what God was telling him to do. Because guess what? Actions are no good without a desire to do it. Right now, my purpose, my family's purpose, is to build something in Ferguson. Planting a church in Ferguson. We are calling it the house. I am literally at this stage of building a team to go do some serious work in Ferguson. Me, my wife, Steve, Sue, adding people to the team almost what feels like daily. And we're on the hunt for people to be a part of this thing. And here's the question that we're asking folks. Man, how big is your love for Ferguson? How bad do you want to see change? Because I ain't got no money to offer you right now. So how big is this desire? I would rather have a team of people who got like desire and fire to do what they do rather than just going through the motions, rather than just trying to get their name out and whatever. I understand the need for money, but here's the thing. I believe God's going to provide according to his riches and his glory. Give me some folks who got desire, man. In order to get something accomplished in your life, you must first want it to be accomplished. I can't want it more than you. Here's the third thing. Purpose is only fulfilled through belief. Your purpose will be fulfilled when you believe that it can be fulfilled. Moses heads back to Egypt. He's got a team of people with him now. Gets before Pharaoh, hey, let my people go. The story, like all of that, right? Not only does Pharaoh refuse, but Pharaoh increases the workload on the Israelites. Because at first they were providing the bricks and all this stuff, and now they're like, nah, Moses talking crazy, you guys go make your own brick. And now the people are looking at Moses like, bro, why are you even here? You just made them mad. Go back to where you was at, man. Now Moses and Aaron are going before the Lord in prayer. Man, this was stupid. Got me traveling all this way. I get before the people. My own people don't even want to deal with me now. They don't even want to talk to me. They think I'm a joke. You ain't even done nothing yet. Look at Exodus 6:2. This is where it gets good. God spoke to Moses and said to him, I am the Lord. Case closed. I am the Lord. That's it. That's all he says. Just when Moses is at the end of his wits, man, I don't know what I'm doing. This is ridiculous. God shows up. Hey, man, don't forget I'm God. Oh, yeah. Had to come in and reassure him that all is well. Hey, I got you. Here's who I am. Here's what I've done. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to say. Go back and read the story. He even tells Moses, I'm going to kill Pharaoh's firstborn. Go back and read it. He hasn't sent one plague yet, and he tells him, I'm going to kill his firstborn. What? And at this moment, Moses never doubted again. The rest of the story, whenever it's dealing with Israel being delivered, Moses never doubted again. He did whatever he was told to do, no questions asked. Either God is who he says he is, or he's not. I choose to believe that he is. And I hope you're doing the same thing in your own life. Billy Sunday was a guy who was not only a great baseball player, but he was also a Christian evangelist. He has this quote saying, more men fail through lack of purpose than lack of talent. More men fail through lack of purpose than lack of talent. It's not about how good you are. It's not about how great you are, how great you can speak. It's just simply, man, you got a drive, you got a passion, you got a desire. Don't start doubting God when stuff gets a little rocky. Moses' the first attempt, he gets a no and he starts wigging out. Let's not be a group of narrow-minded, weak backbone, glass jaw Christians. Let's not be that. Let's get some fight in us. Let's get some moxie, if you will. Soon as the enemy hits us with something, we want to go run and hide. No, let's be people of purpose. Let's be people who are standing on the promises of God, knowing that God is with us because he's the one who sent us in the first place. Let's be those kind of people. It's not about my talent, because guess what? I'm not that talented. It's about me saying yes. It's about me being obedient to what God is telling me to do. And please know that God's timing is a part of belief. Because we want to jump out here and again, microwave, instant, pop, pop, pop. No. Don't run out here thinking that since God gave you a clear mission and vision that it's going to happen overnight. That's not always the case. It's not going to happen instantly. But please believe. Just believe. Here's the last thing. Your purpose fits into God's plan. Your purpose fits into God's plan. Israel witnesses all the plagues. Passover is established. Pharaoh finally lets them leave, but changes his mind. He sends the army after them. Now Moses, he's got all the people stuck. They got the Red Sea in front of them, and they got Moses' army behind them. What in the world are we going to do? Moses raises up his staff. The water lifts and literally creates a wall for them to walk through, and they walk through on dry ground. They and cross over to the other side. And Exodus 14:30 says, on that day, when the Israelites saw the bodies of the Egyptians washed up on the shore, they knew that the Lord had saved them. Because of the mighty power he had used against the Egyptians, the Israelites worshiped God and trusted him and his servant Moses. Israelites finally got to this place of like, okay, I see what God is doing now. This is why Moses was doing what he was doing and saying what he was saying. This is why all those plagues got sent. This is why Moses told us to cross over the water. I thought he was crazy, but okay, I see it now. God will never send you out by chance. Won't send you out by accident without having a plan. His plan was to free the children of Israel, and Moses' purpose fit into that plan. So if an architect has a desire to build a house, he's calling on a construction team to lay the foundation and all the concrete work. And then here comes a carpenter to lay all the woodwork and the framework. Build the roof. Calls on a plumber to, hey, let's get all these pipe fittings. His water's got to flow throughout the house. Let's get the electrician. He's got to have power now. And then here comes the interior designer to make everything look all great and pretty. I got a plan to build a house, and I got all these parts of people who have a specific mission, a specific person, a purpose to get the plan done. That's us. God has a plan, and our purpose fits into that. Even if your purpose changes, it's still a part of the plan. Because you look at Moses' life, at this point, he's called to be the deliverer. He's to set the people free. That's it. Later on in his life, he's to be the lawgiver. And later, everything gets transitioned to Joshua. Now, let's go back to the night of Jesus at that table. Gets up from the table with his disciples. Judas has sold him out because Judas has already left. He's feeling guilty. And Jesus takes two of the disciples and goes into the garden and prays. It's right before he gets arrested. Luke 22:41-43 says he walked away about a stone's throw. Remember, he's got two of his disciples with him. So he's about a stone's throw away from them and knelt down and prayed. There's your worship right there, like I mentioned earlier. 42 says, Father, if you are willing, please take this cup of suffering away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine. There's the persistence. Then the angel from heaven appeared and strengthened him. There's the belief. These points of purpose were even acted out in Jesus' own life. He first worshiped, purposed in his heart, and then he believed. God's plan was to provide a way for man to become righteous again, reestablish relationship. That's his plan. And Jesus' purpose fit into that plan. At this point in Jesus' life, his purpose was to be a sacrifice for all. Romans 5:18, Adam's one sin brings condemnation for everyone, but Christ's one act of righteousness brings a right relationship with God and new life for everyone. So at this point in Jesus' life, he's to be the sacrifice for all. At his second coming, when he comes back, he ain't coming back as a baby again. He's coming back to rule and reign. He's coming back with a sword. We're on notice right now. He's not coming back to be a sacrifice again. He's already done it. He's coming back to conquer. I'm letting everybody know I am the King of Kings. So I believe that in order for you to find your true purpose, God has got to be a part of the search. Otherwise, you're not going to find it. You're going to be wandering and wandering. Job after job, school after school, relationship after relationship. God has to be included in the search, and the purpose that he has for you will fit into his overall plan. Psalm 32:8 says, the Lord says, I will guide you along the best pathway for your life. I will advise you and watch over you.